Okay, guys, still got tons of content to get to you from Florida Audio Expo, but there's another show coming up soon, Southwest Audiofest in my backyard of Dallas. I'm in Houston, not too far. I want to give you guys a preview of that right now while I get the rest of the content from Florida out. Stay tuned. Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. Late at night on a Sunday, still working, trying to get content out to you. And again, I apologize. I'm still got backlog, huge backlog on the Tampa audio show, but it's just taken me so long to get through that. But the real reason I'm going to go ahead and leapfrog it is because there's a very important show coming up later this month, and I want to get a preview to you guys so you know whether this is a show that you want to attend or not. And if you want my opinion, it's a must-see show. It's not the biggest show in the world, but the Southwest Audiofest show in Dallas, first year, last year, huge hit. Not just on the quality of brands and the room quality in terms of sound quality. This hotel is amazing. It's a destination hotel people go to for actual resort and enjoyment. And so you get a different perspective than a lot of these other shows, which sometimes are on the more inexpensive side or not in the thick of things of a big city like Dallas. You're going to be able to make this a spring break destination in just a few weeks. And what I'm going to be doing is similar to what I did for the Florida show, is doing some previews with different vendors that are attending and giving you guys previews ahead of time. Because I think whatever I can do to help these shows and help the vendors, I got a true appreciation for behind the scenes, what it takes. I want to help these companies. Again, I do this free of charge. So Gary, Gill, and Lou, who put on this show, they're in this Zoom, and they're going to give you a preview of everything from the brands, how many rooms. They're already up to equal amount of big rooms as some of the bigger shows. But it's still a smaller show you can get through in a short amount of time. But then you're going to be able to digest the after hours, the seminars, and enjoy Dallas. So this Zoom will kind of cover all of those things, and then be on the lookout. And any vendors that are attending this show, reach out to me. Again, free of charge. I will do a Zoom with you, assuming we can coordinate schedules, and do a preview for you guys and help build this show, because I think it's really potentially going to be one of the best shows in the entire world. But let's get North America first and Texas first. So enjoy this Zoom.
But yeah, I want to thank you guys for joining me. This is, I know, Gary, I've done some Zooms with you in the past for Capital Audiofest. First time having Lou on the channel, and if people don't know Lou, I'm gonna give him a chance to introduce himself. But he makes he's not just a show organizer. He makes speakers, really high quality speakers, very innovative speakers, and great looking. So, and you're gonna get to hear a little bit and see him at the show, and he'll tell you maybe a little bit about that. And then Gary, you see in the background, Popori. He's actually the one that found Popori even before me. He's had them. That's his reference. Yep. There. And he actually lets people come to his house and audition them. So he'll probably talk about that a little bit more, because Popori is going to be there, the same Mike Sweck room, a big room, not a huge room, but a nice size room. And I'll be helping out in that room as well. But yeah, I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on the show, just a background of how it's grown after 1 year. Let me just say right off the bat, last year was phenomenal. I thought the venue was great.
Thank you.
That's where high-end audio shows should be. It's in a high-end hotel. It's in a great location. We found some great restaurants. We had the best time. Dallas is a fun town. And if you want to make it a whole weekend, come to Houston before rodeo time. I went to rodeo last night. It's a blast. So yeah, this is a great time of year. It's spring break. You can't ask for a better getaway than this show, because it's not too large where you can't get to everything. And you were telling me, Lou, that y'all have, yeah, you may not have as many rooms but bigger than last year, but not as many rooms as some other shows, but you have almost equal amount of big rooms and some big systems coming. So maybe sharing some of those things you were hinting at earlier.
Yeah. Equal to other major shows, in terms of large rooms. We've got
large rooms is about the same as some of the big shows.
Any of the other major shows in the country.
So what are some of the brands that y'all know are going to be taking up some of those big rooms?
Oh, well, of course, Vac will have the big thing there, and Acora, and well, here, let me look.
NBL, I know.
NBL, right?
Yeah, MBL will be in there.
So you're going to get a chance to hear the NBL Extremes, which I know 3MA is the local dealer you've seen on my channel. Most people have seen on my channel many times. Actually, I have like two or three friends that I know that own NBL Extremes. It's very rare. As most of my audiophile hobby, I never even thought I'd ever hear the NBL Extremes. Now it's like commonplace. Just go to this guy's house, go to 3MA. But if you haven't heard them, they're quite a treat. And usually they're only at shows like Munich show. So this is quite a coup to have them at your show and be able to hear them. You got some other ones you wanted to share?
Oh, well, I mean, it's just there's, some of the dealers in, YG Acoustics will be doing a big presence there.
Oh, yeah. YG was all over last year.
They'll be in 2 large rooms this year, with Supreme Acoustic is their, now who handles them. Scott Walker Audio will be there. I'm sure he'll have the whole gamut of really big brands there. And he's got a couple of big rooms. Nordist, classic audio speakers, for the classics.
Okay, so the classic audio reproduction.
Yeah, the big horn speakers.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So and Infigo Audio, we'll have.
Infigo. Yeah, they had a big room last year. Yeah,
whole gamut there of big. A lot of these are dealers, a lot of different stuff. We've got a pretty extensive brands list on the website.
Okay.
Gives you an idea of just who it is, but yeah, you'll see, and then there's a lot of innovative things like Popori, for instance,
I think they have a corner room. Does Mike Sweck have a corner room on the floor?
Like
yeah, not one of the conference areas, but yeah, and those are pretty big. Those are pretty big.
Well, it's 16 by 20 foot.
Okay.
Which is a good size, and I mean, even the thing is, our standard rooms at this show are 14 foot by 20 foot with a 9 foot 4-inch ceiling. Now, perspective, you go to like Expona, not to name names, but it's just as an example. Most of their standard rooms are about 13 foot by 17 feet. That's actually a huge difference, and with an 8-foot ceiling. So
ceiling height can make a big difference. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So these rooms are quite a bit bigger than most of the other shows. Actually, I think the Capital Audio Fest, the standard rooms are pretty big, but not this big. The only show that I know of that has larger standard rooms would be the Pacific Audio Fest. But these rooms, but that doesn't have the ceiling height.
Right. So the ceiling height is big. You get lots of reflections off the ceiling. And, in our room with the Poporis and Bach, we take measurements, and we get to see exactly where the reflections are coming from.
Right.
And yeah, even the ceiling is often the place where you can't treat, but that's the problematic area. And sometimes the higher ceiling will make that delay much further in time, and it's not impacting imaging as much as a short.
Exactly. Especially if it's in a room that's, that size room, when you have that tall of a ceiling, it really helps. It helps take the ceiling out of the equation. So, these are just great sounding rooms. So it's
a high-end hotel. This isn't like
Oh yeah, it's one of the best in the country. I mean,
and you're gonna have a great time.
It's a real experience just staying there. So we've tried to tell people, you'll pay a couple more dollars to stay there, even with our discount rate, but it's an experience. You feel
literally it's in the middle of the city, so you could stay anywhere. The budget hotels and just take an Uber or walk. There's one that's most people are staying at that I know, walking across, because the hotel's already booked up. So yeah, it's very convenient to whatever price points, but the actual venue itself, there's a lazy river, I think, that you can do. So you could bring the family, they can do their thing during the day. The Gaylord Hotel is a destination out there that people like to visit for spring break. There's tons of things you can do for spring break. The family can do, make it a whole weekend. So yeah, it's a great option. I'm glad that you brought a show down to Texas in the big way. There's always been a smaller show, but this is actually doing it the right way, I think, for the brands that you like to cater to, and the money that is in Texas in general, especially Dallas. They are going to get real treat to see that variety. When you've got YG, NBL, Estalon, and you get to see innovative things that aren't in many dealers yet, like the Popori. And actually just had a Zoom with Popori. Speaking of it, the sale model, I'll pop up a picture. It's on its way starting next week, coming down. It's going to come down to me, and then we're going to bring it up. So that'll be the world debut of that. And maybe it'd be a good time to pivot to you, Gary, because I know we talked about your experience with Potpourri, and now we've got so many more owners just since your show. So many people resonated with it. And then you've, I think, hosted some people. But yeah, the sale model is, I know you may not be on the latest news on that. That will be at the show and coming my way next week.
Right. I did speak to Mike a couple days ago, and he was excited about it. He's looking forward to receiving it and bringing it to Southwest Audio Fest. The best thing about it, I mean, is that they're very efficient. They're tube friendly, although they work equally as well with solid state. But man, for me, the openness, the depth, and the breadth of the soundstage is hard to beat. And I've been through a lot of different brands, but nonetheless, I think I found my last pair of speakers ever. That's what I'm hoping. But I mean, we're still going to have tons of great products at the Southwest Audio Fest. Even another Electrostat, we have Sound Lab coming.
Right.
And Sound Lab, they're the Phoenix. They're like they're the Electrostat that many
got it all
people
started,
emulate or model themselves after and try and better.
Yeah, but Quads and then Sound Labs were like the preeminent, and then kind of Martin Logan started the whole hybrid. But yeah, once you hear electrostatics done right and it resonates with you, then it becomes, like you found, for a lot of people, that's their end game. Now, some people are still going to be fans of the other type speakers, and you've got the best of the best of those. When you talk about YG, I visited their facility.
Oh yeah.
You can't do any better. I mean, it is just, I don't even know, aeronautic, NASA doesn't even go to the tolerances they were talking about, the parts that they do. So yeah, this is true high end. Whatever ilk of speaker resonates with you, you should be able to find it there, because NBL is going to be there too. And then at different price points, you're not sacrificing much at all, because like Lou speaker, it's beautiful. Beyond reproach in terms of the aesthetic element. And then you do some very innovative stuff with your tweeter, much like Potpourri is innovating stuff in the electrostatic realm. Maybe you could tell people a little bit about your speakers and Daedalus and some of the stuff that you're going to be doing.
Well, I just we do a couple of things that are unusual in the industry. It's a all dynamic driver, what's called a box speaker, but it's highly efficient without horns. So, very, very efficient. The crossover network is designed by, I think is the best engineer in the industry. And, he designed the Wisdom Audio line.
Oh, really?
Top line, $1 million a pair of speakers.
Well, that was, I've got Wisdoms myself. So yeah.
The same level of quality goes into our crossovers.
Wow.
So we have an extremely developed, and so, but what that means, it's just, the impedance curve on these is very flat. It looks like a frequency curve. So for people that know, that means they work well with any amplifier. And they're a solid hardwood. So and a lot of people come to me because they love the sound. There's a lot of great sound speakers, but they also like the appearance of them and the fact that it is solid hardwood. They're lifetime speakers. So we get, like Gary was saying, the Potpourri clicks the boxes for him. I get most of my clientele have been around this a long time, and they go like, this is my end game speaker, that I will, I just got an order this week. The guy said, this is it. I'm on order this pair of speakers, and then we'll leave them to my children.
Yeah. And that's what these shows are all about. There's a good chance that people are on that gear merry-go-round because they don't get exposure to everything to find out what suits their taste. Maybe they've never even heard of electrostatic before, certainly like the Popori, or maybe they haven't heard some of the innovative things you've done with yours, or seen the cabinet quality, you know, hardwood. Oh my God, this is not veneer. This is so nice. You know, this is your chance to get exposed to stuff that you've never seen. And then it's much easier for you to find your end game when you've had that exposure. Now, I will caution people, you do not want to make categoric generalization about the sound quality just at these shows. The noise floor is high. The volume is not in your control. The music's not in your control. There's so many things that can corrupt the actual sound quality. But when you get a chance to talk to the people behind the brands, and that's what I would encourage you to do in every room, your intuition and what resonates with you will just naturally occur, and you'll be like, yeah, this is kind of what I hear. He hears what I hear. He's designing the way I like to hear stuff. Or you go into a room like, I never heard this before. Wow, this is a new standard for me. I've never heard this. Let me understand more. That's the value of these shows versus just walking in, making a categoric assumption based on Keith don't go off axis, you know, like a lot of people do. So yeah, and this show will give you that opportunity because it's not too large like some of the other shows where you feel pressured to see everything. I know at least I do. I can go in these rooms, have a song, 2 songs if I want to, enjoy it, talk to the people. You're not stressed. And even if you get a 1-day pass, I think you should go all 3 days, because the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, you have some nighttime entertainment going on?
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's a good time to pivot to that.
Yeah, we have you know, Friday and Saturday nights we've got live music, you know, starting at 7 p.m. in the Stemmons Ballroom, and we're setting that up so it's like a nightclub atmosphere. We'll have a bar, cash bar in there. We'll have some free food as long as it lasts, you know, and so it'll be a lot of fun. You know, Friday we've got a Texas blues band, a trio, you know, kind of a Stevie Ray Vaughan style. And you know, Saturday night is a Texas jazz band, you know, give us a feel for what's going on musically in Texas.
Cool.
So I mean, we try and make this a fun event for everybody.
Yeah, and the after hours is a great chance to interact. That's another benefit of these shows, is that a lot of us, especially some people in small towns, they don't even have dealers they can go to. They don't have other audiophiles or audiophile societies they can interact with. This is your chance to talk shop with other audiophiles. And never hesitate to come up to me. Never hesitate to ask these people that are there, especially after hours when they're not trying to run a room, that, you know, just talk shop with them and get a flavor for how many great people there are in the hobby. Sometimes there's a focus on some of the negativity or just the very, very few toxic. But really, this industry has mostly just tons of great people, passionate, you know, different types of flavors they like, but very respectful and very fun to be around. And I always just have the best time at the shows. And my friends all want to fly in, not just to join with me, but just to interact with you guys and the whole environment. So it's really more of a festival in a way than just a showroom like a quasi dealer. This is a celebration, and if you use it to the best advantage, you will always come to these shows, because it's intoxicating if you like the hobby.
Right.
And we know, but we know that you know that like Greg Barron of the United Home Audio always puts on a great party afterwards, after hours party, and Vac and Akora, they usually put on a nice shindig after hours. So,
and they can crank it up at night a lot more sometimes. Now, not late at night, but
definitely. And it definitely allows you, once you have a glass of wine or a beverage under your belt, then things magically sound even better. So why not give it a shot?
Yes. It's a must to do these after hours.
Right.
It's so much fun after hours. And yeah, you get to hear some music content at these shows that otherwise some people get tunnel vision into their playlist and whatnot. That's another benefit of the show, is you will hear stuff. Don't ask for Keith Don't Go or Tim Pan Alley. You know, like I said, it's not the point of judging them on that sound quality anyway. And they'll play it organically on your own. You're going to hear that for sure. But this is a chance to just bring out your Shazam and pick up new music that you haven't heard.
Right.
And yeah, even after hours, I did something fun in Tampa. I'm probably going to do it again in Mike Sweck's room. Is we did Name That Tune. And so we played a few seconds,
Nice.
and so we did Keith Don't Go, but believe it or not, nobody got it on the first. I was like so shocked.
Oh,
So it took a little while, but and Tim Pan Alley, I think we did that too. I thought for sure it was going to be like that, but so that was actually encouraging. You know, people that weren't overdosed on that and didn't know it. So yeah, it's a great time, the after hours, and you can get, depending on, you can go around and spend some time in the Greg Barron and the NBL room back, and Akora is going to do stuff. I know Mike Sweck and I'm going to be doing
Right.
stuff. And we'll give some more details on what night and you know, all that, the hours. Normally what we do is we go to dinner after the show ends around, what is the show hours again?
10 to 6 Friday and Saturday, and 10 to 3 on Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. And let me give you guys a tip. It's so busy usually when the show opens on Friday
Right.
and definitely on Saturday.
Right.
Do not overlook Sunday. Like that
Right.
is the best day to really get time in the
Right.
room, quiet, almost dedicated demos, because for whatever reason, it just isn't as popular a day as all the other days. But that's the best day to get a huge bang for the buck. Now, if you want to socialize, do some of the nightlife, do all the other things we've just been talking about, Friday and Saturday is great. But if you really are there to buy something and want to get a dedicated demo, that is the day to do it. Now, I know certain vendors like Mike Sweck and others, if you reach out to them ahead of time, they will open up the room before and after hours for a
Okay.
true dedicated demo. So if you
Mhm.
are a serious buyer and looking to do something like that, that's another little behind the scenes tip that I can give you, get people. But yeah, I'm super stoked for it. It's not that far off. So these
You know,
Yeah, Jason, I can say that not only do we have 60 rooms, but we have approximately 20 booth vendors.
oh yeah.
We've got a bunch of vinyl guys
Yeah.
and several. You're going to have to spend time in the atrium, and I can say, although it's comparable to the Capitol Audio Fest in its format, in that the Capitol Audio Fest has multiple floors all looking down into the atrium.
hmm
We're lucky that we found something like that in Dallas. But as Lou alluded to, we've got not only the atrium, but we've got plenty of rooms to expand over time. I mean, right now, although we have 20 large rooms, we have the ability over time to go up to 79 large rooms.
Wow.
And the hotel itself has 1,600 sleeping rooms. So that's why we moved here, and that's why we feel we're in here for the long run.
it's a
We're
great
growing
venue.
little by little. We're growing little by little. We want to make sure that we have the right amount of visitors, the attendees at the right amount of rooms. And we're taking our time with this. We're growing gradually, and I think we're on board to do this the right way.
Yeah,
That hotel
we're in
is the
this for
best
the long
one.
haul. We're in
Yeah,
this for the long haul, and
definitely.
to grow a really major show. I think Kevin Hayes he tags this America's audio show.
Yeah, yeah,
So we
right.
didn't come up with that. That was Kevin. But I
Well,
wanted to
something
say,
in the South that's centrally located, that's important. You know, we
Right.
have the Exponent further north in Chicago,
Correct.
and then we have just did Tampa on the East Coast, but that's a little bit tougher for the West Coast. And the West Coast has their shows too, but this is really important for a very big demographic that people can drive to, fly to very easily in the
also
South.
international. We
Yeah.
were getting, we advertise in Mexico. We get people come up from Mexico and Central America. So
Lots of audiophiles in Mexico, in fact.
Oh yeah. So there's a huge potential for growth for this show, and the hotel can handle it. It's one of the beautiful things about this hotel is that unlike the other audio shows where we kind of create this pond of audio and we try and get people in, and we're trying to the high end stuff, we're trying to draw in the high end clientele. This hotel is the high end pond. This is literally the hotel in Dallas. When a president comes to visit Dallas, when a billionaire comes, this is the hotel they stay in. So we're setting up our show in the high-end pond.
Right.
No other show has done that.
Yeah, and that's where this kind of gear of this price tag really belongs. It's kind of always been a little bit
does. Right, yeah.
strange when I go to these shows and it's out in the middle of nowhere
Yeah.
and not that great of a hotel, and it's gear that's $1 million, you know. And so I know the Tampa shows was a nice upgrade just this past weekend, and you guys were right on the forefront finding this one. I think this is the preeminent one in North America, and gives these pieces of equipment not only the venue but the quality of sound that you want. And like you said, it's got that atrium look that you have in Capitol Audio Fest, and many people rave about the rooms at Capitol Audio Fest. But over time, this one might even be the favorite of many people once they get to choose it. Last year, that hotel is so huge. There were like 3 other conventions going on. Like,
Right.
you know, the audio was like the smallest. It was like a roofers thing, and that was fun. And then they had
Right.
some
The big
sorority thing.
sorority.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was like they took over the hotel. We just had a little bitty portion. And that made it fun too, because you could interact with different groups. So yeah, this is definitely a different type of show. Each show has its own little flavor and niche that makes it special and makes me want to go, because it's not like going to the same show all the time.
Right.
Each time I do this, and the timing is right, the weather is right. The Mexican restaurant is going to be first on my agenda. Again, that was a great find last year, but there's tons of great food in Dallas. And also I'm going to be celebrating my birthday that week. And then
yeah.
also wanted to give a reminder. You had sent a press release out, but just in case anybody didn't know, any vendors that are going to be at the show that want to do a pre-show Zoom with me to highlight in more detail what they're going to be showing, I'm happy to do a video with you like I did, because I think that helps to get people focused when they go there, which rooms they may be more interested than others, what they wanted to see, and even get interested when they hear, oh, wait, YG's bringing this. I've never seen a
Right.
YG speaker or Popori
Right.
or the Daedalus speaker. Now I know it's worthwhile going. I'm not just going to see what I
Right,
see at
right.
Best Buy or I see
Right.
at my local dealer. You're going to see stuff you haven't seen before, almost guaranteed. I'll
Right.
see stuff I haven't seen before, guaranteed. I know the sale model, there's the Popori
Right.
is one of them, but yeah, I'm going to be seeing stuff all over, electronics, everything that are particular even to Texas. And in the vendor area, I know there's some vendors that are kind of Texas related that are
Correct.
below the radar nationally. So this is a great chance to do that. And I'm happy to focus on any of those companies ahead of time. I don't charge anything. So you don't have to worry about being shaken down for any money, but just reach out to me in the time remaining. That's my only limitation, how much time. So I'm going to put this video out pretty soon, but yeah, just wanted to give you guys a chance to anything else you wanted to share about the show.
I did have one thing I wanted to say. We've just been talking a lot about, you know, the real high end, the extreme high end audio. There'll be shown here and that, and Gary and I are both on the same page with this. We like to have the full spectrum. Okay, we're not just about extreme high end. The show is not just about that. We encourage, you know, people that are just getting started, people that sell, you know, build and sell products that are more affordable, shall we say. We encourage them to come and be a part of the show. So we want to have, we try and make the show so it's the full spectrum. It's not, so if you're on a, you know, you're like going like, well, you know, this is all great, but you know, $100,000 speakers, not happening. There will be things for you here, and we encourage that, right, Gary?
That's correct. That's correct. And our ultimate goal is to make it like more to bring all different kinds of home entertainment products.
Right.
Ultimately, we want to bring in home theater.
Oh, cool.
There's plenty of spaces. Some of these ballrooms are just too large for 2-channel people. So we have the ability to bring in home theater folks, whether they be installers or people that sell products, etc. But this is going to be a lifestyle show that will bring in all walks of life, all price points, etc. And it's in that neighborhood also, in that you know, there's a day spa. You can bring your family. You can bring your wife. There's an outdoor pool, workout facilities. The hotel is on 48 acres, and then you can walk to really cool restaurants. Jason, as you said, I mean, Lou and I went to what's that?
The Goat Rodeo.
Rodeo Goat.
Okay,
Rodeo Goat, which was pretty fun. And it's a cool neighborhood. You don't have to get out of the car. You don't have to drive. You just walk around. And even inside, the restaurants are pretty darn good.
Oh, there's one with a great view at the top.
Just stay for the weekend. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
And I got to say, there's 2 nearby airports. You have Love Field, which literally is a 10-minute drive. And then the Dallas Fort Worth, which is probably about 20 to 30 minutes Uber drive. So, I mean, we're in a great location. The proximity is amazing. So we have our long-term goal is to make this, you know, the most substantial show in the country.
And I can see it happening very easily based on year 1. So kudos to you guys for having the courage to do it and pull it off that first year. Glad to see that you're already up in terms of big rooms. But yeah, that's a good point you make. A lot of people may think this is like a car show where it's only the look but don't touch stuff you can only aspire to own. But a lot of these shows, and especially probably in that vendor area as well, you'll find products, tube amps, and all kinds of things that are very budget friendly, and you're not sacrificing a lot of performance either.
Correct.
You know? So this is a great show to get a better feel for those things and find some things that you otherwise, the very common budget brands or the Chinese stuff, you're going to start seeing some people that are making stuff in America, or, you know, maybe modifying Chinese stuff to give you that more higher performance, higher pride of ownership. So yeah, this is a great show for that. The vendors, I'm glad to hear that. What are some of the vendors that you do have coming? Is JR going to be there with the Wham engine?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a must visit. I mean, like I missed him in Tampa, but I got to just give a shout out. If you have a turntable and you miss going to his booth, you're really missing out on a lot, because he can improve almost any turntable of super low budget to high budget. And that's another thing that you will kind of get from this show. You will get tips that you can go back and improve your system without spending $1 from experts. And if you want to consult, sometimes a consulting arrangement and having somebody come out and help you or get tools like JR sells are better than spending money on a new turntable. You know,
we have a lot of great seminars. We have a lot of great seminars.
Yeah, maybe real quick, which ones do you have?
Oh, they're listed. They're listed on the website, but I think oh gosh, I'll have to pull it up. I know we've got a wonderful seminar on room treatments.
Oh wow, that's
ASC tube traps, right?
Oh really? Okay.
ASC tube traps will be there.
Yeah.
Dr. Vinyl, Jason Smith is going to be discussing reel-to-reel tape in the industry. Then we've got, of course, the man in the white jacket. We've got Charles Kiramis.
Dan Wright will be there talking about
Dan White.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah. He's got a long pedigree in the industry of doing both tubes and solid state, hybrid. So that would be worthwhile listening to.
Oh, and Val Cora, who owns Acora loudspeakers. He also bought Audio Research.
That's correct.
So he's going to actually be doing a talk just about the history of audio research.
Oh, that's awesome.
And also, Audio Research has a room at the show as well. So, I mean, Audio Research rarely goes to any shows. So, and now they're coming back out. They realize they got to get back out in the industry.
Well, he's one that's reached out to me, and I'm going to be doing a video with him, and he's going to share some of these details that you're already tipping me off to. But that's great. Yeah, because, him being back in control of ARC is much better than, some of these other options.
Right. And we'll also have a seminar or talk about pilot radio. We've got I wasn't familiar with the company, but Gary, who's been into this longer than I have as an audiophile, knows them, and this is a brand that started in 1919.
Wow.
And it's being resurrected by the great-grandson of the founder.
Interesting.
And talk about the whole history of this company. And Gary I mentioned it to Gary the other day. He said, "Oh yeah, these are tell me, Gary, about the
Oh yeah,
amp."
matter of fact, Pilot Radio, when I got into audio originally, after I got my first Harman Kardon HK 730, I discovered tubes, and there's a famous brand out of New York called Pilot Radio, and they made a bunch of really high quality tube gear, stereo amps, mono amps, etc. And then they magically disappeared, like a lot of tube companies did. But it's something I'm looking forward to listening to the history, because I think what it sounds like is they're looking to come back into the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Leak went away. Leak came back. Luxman went away, kind of, and they kind of came back in the market. But some of these vintage tube companies are now coming back. So we'll see what happens. Dynaco has always been hovering around, and they're, although they're not at the show, but Dynaco is still around, and some of their tube gear is still cherished. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to hear the conversation.
Yeah, and I
We have
might
a lot
want
of
to talk.
cool seminars. A lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I might want to talk to you guys about, if you don't have somebody automatically filming them, somehow maybe I can crowdsource some of my friends helping film those for you, because putting those out after the fact, a lot of people just get tunnel visioned into the rooms and they want to get through the rooms, and they kind of skip the seminars, but there's so much value in these seminars. It might be worthwhile to film them and then have that value, at least on the, people can digest it, on my channel whenever they see fit. So yeah, we'll talk about maybe coordinating something on that front, because that is an overlooked value of these shows.
Agreed.
And all of that stuff. If you've got ASC there talking about room treatments, that's going to be a must.
Yep.
If you've got a turntable, you got to go listen to JR. So yeah, these are very important things that could give you added value of going to the show, and worth the 3-day pass than just trying to get through everything. All right, well, good guys, I'm super excited. I'm glad you could join me, and I'm going to start scheduling some companies to give previews of theirs. But I look forward to seeing you guys. And if there's anything else you guys want to share, be sure to tell me, and we'll either do this again or I'll put it out in some video prior to the show.
Great. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.